Good morning. Welcome or welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK and it is Friday, February the 23rd. Friday at last. For those of you who are not retired, huzzah! Just have to get through the day. For those of you who are retired, awesome. Enjoy. Kim says, good morning. Good morning, Kim. How are you? Are you resting or relaxing? That is the goal. So far so good for me. We shall see. Announcements. No sprints tonight. Friday nights we don't do sprints, but sprints tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern, and those will go for 5 hours. Exactly. Rainy morning here. Oh, perfect reading or crafting weather. That will be very nice. All right. So Fridays, we don't have really a specific genre that we look at for the books that are being set into the wild this week. So typically we continue with the cozy mysteries because there's always a lot of them. And after that, we'll just kind of look at whatever catches our eye on other websites. But as you know, we look at a different genre every day of the week. On Mondays, we look at cozy mysteries. On Tuesdays, we look at mysteries and thrillers. On Wednesdays, we look at romance. And on Thursdays, we look at fantasy and science fiction. So I believe this is where we left off with the cozies on Monday. And we always check first the release date to make sure it's this week. This one is. And then we check the number of pages. If it's 100 pages, if it's less than 100 pages, we don't always look at it. Depends on the mood. Sleepy weather. Yes. Oh, naps would be so nice. For some reason, my sleeping patterns are off, and I find I'm awake in the middle of the night. And so I get up and do some crochet to kind of quiet the mind. Last night was such a night. Here Goes Nothing by L. Adams, ninth in a Reaper Witch mystery. Mora's life and her brother's afterlife is on the line. Trying to stop an enemy that always seems to be one step ahead of her is a challenging enough task without having to contend with the ghosts of her past. But with the clock ticking down until Halloween night, Mora is willing to seek anyone's help to stop Mina Devlin from enacting her revenge against Hawkwood Hollow for thwarting her plans, even her former coven. Can Mora protect both the living and the dead from certain disaster, or has the Reaper Witch's journey come to an end? Didn't we look at this one? Are we on the wrong line? Well, if you were looking at the same line I was looking at. I've been reading a nonfiction book about the Princes in the Tower called The Princes in the Tower by Philippa Langley, and she is a person who was involved in the finding of Richard III's remains. And I'm a Ricardian. I believe Richard III has been greatly maligned. And so my brain has been trying to get around the War of the Roses, the Cousins' War, etc., of why it got to be such a mess and how they got to where they were. So I was looking, right before I jumped online, I was looking at the family tree there, and wow, what a mess. All right, A Smoking Bun by Ellie Alexander. Part of the Baking Shop Mysteries. There are 19 books in that series. The mountains are calling in Ashland, Oregon, where pastry chef turned amateur sleuth Jules Capshaw is baking up a bevy of spiced curry buns and chai cookies for a moonlit snowshoe tour. Marilla's family is visiting from Spain, and Jules can't wait to take them up to her beloved Mount A. Oh, I think we did read this one. With its charming and rustic lodge, backcountry trails, and star-filled skies that stretch for miles. Their winter wonderland adventure is nothing short of magical, and the merry party opts to return to the slope the next day for the downhill dummy. And that's right, we did read this one. Okay. So to recap for Monday, let's go down a line. Ancient Guardian of Secrets, 57 pages. Witches of Moonlight, Hollow Cozy Mystery. No, it's a short story. Double Grudge Donuts by Ginger Bolton. Eighth in the Deputy Donut Mysteries. I do believe this came out this week, but we're just going to double check. We always double check. Here we go. The countdown is on as Deputy Donut Cafe owner Emily Westhill gets ready for married life. But before she takes the plunge, she'll need to poke a hole in a deadly criminal's plans. When the Fallingbrook Arts Festival rolls into town weeks before she's set to tie the knot, Emily expects talent and friendly competition at the week-long summer series to go together like coffee and double fudge. But the fun crumbles fast after a lively bagpiper takes first place on day one and turns heads for the wrong reasons, all before Emily and her tabby cat find him dead in a clear case of murder. Along with the distinctive weapon at the crime scene, several strategically placed items leave disturbing clues about the killer's identity, including a broken piece of a Deputy Donut mug. While detectives aren't sure who silenced the bagpiper's music, they don't trust Emily or her family to tell the truth. With her nuptials and career on the line, Emily launches an unsettling investigation to save herself from trouble and bring a dangerous figure to justice. Oh, that's large print. What the what? Double checking the date. And we're good. Five Furry Familiars. Kitchen Witch Mysteries number 5 by Lynn Cahoon. To keep her cooking school and catering business, Mia's morsels afloat, Mia's handed off oversight to her boyfriend Trent's mother while she focuses on earning a steady paycheck. Too bad her mean-spirited boss at the lodge keeps the misery flowing as steadily as the money. At least her roommate Christina is still dedicated to Mia's morsels, though she's also distracted thanks to her clingy mother's constant demands. And the distraction only grows when Christina's old flame shows up in Magic Springs, Idaho, in his Escalade, claiming out of the blue to be her fiancé. The arrival of some homeless kittens, as well as Trent's new familiar, a cute little Maltese, brings more chaos, as well as a strange spiritual energy that seems to emanate from the animals. But before Mia can figure out what kind of paranormal pets she has on her hands, she finds herself with a murder to solve when a dead woman is how inconvenient. When a dead woman is found in the lodge rental of Christina's suddenly attentive ex. Don't do it, girl. He probably wants something. Tile M for murder. Okay, they get points. Not many, but they get points. Love the Bake Shop series. I've not read it. I think Bake Shop was the last because I didn't have the Library Murders added to my TBR. Oh. All right. Let's go to the Kindle. Let's go to the Kindle. This is by Felicia Carparelli. I'm having problems reading this because my glasses are filthy. Oh my gosh. I think this is coming out next week. It is coming out next week. And it's about Scrabble, but it's next week, so we can't look at it. Ill-fated fortune. And they always default to the $27 paperback. No way. Hang on. Yes, hang on. We're jumping around. Okay, we're good. Ill-Fated Fortune by Jennifer J. Chow, first in the Magical Fortune Cookies series. Felicity Jin grew up literally hanging onto Mom's apron strings in their magical bakery in the quaint town of Pixie, California. Her mother's enchanted baked goods, including puffy pineapple buns and creamy egg tarts, bring instant joy to all who consume them. Felicity has always been hesitant in the kitchen herself after many failed attempts, but a takeout meal gone wrong inspires her to craft some handmade fortune cookies. They become so popular that Felicity runs out of generic fortunes and starts making her own personalized predictions. When one customer's ill-fated fortune results in his murder, Felicity's suspiciously specific fortune has the police focusing on her as the main culprit. Now Felicity must find a way to turn her luck around and get cleared from suspicion. It sounds cute, but how can a fortune cookie be specific for that person unless she makes it right then? Otherwise, it's just luck of the draw. I don't get it. Perhaps I need more coffee. Good morning, Dustin. How you doing? A Catered Quilting Bee by Isis Crawford. Big name in cozies. This is 18th in a Mystery with Recipes series. Quilt's quiet and delicious food. That's exactly what Bernie and Libby expect as they build the menu for the Longley Sip and Sew Quilting Circle's first ever exhibition hosted at the local library. The eclectic ladies of the group couldn't appear more harmlessly wholesome if they tried, especially mild-mannered kindergarten teacher Cecilia Larson, who hired a little of Taste of Heaven. I'm thinking perhaps the of is in there incorrectly, to cater the event. So it's a complete shock when disturbing news drops about member Ellen Fisher found hanging from a plant hook in her otherwise pristine sewing room. We didn't need to know that. All are very quick to deem the tragic death a suicide, all except for Cecilia. She believes something else happened to her best friend, who was busy adding the finishing stitches on her greatest work yet in hopes of displaying it at the exhibition, and looks to Bernie and Libby to expose the truth and the killer. As Ellen's patchy past comes into focus along with a mysterious connection to a missing 700-year-old quilt fragment, can the sisters unravel the victim's last final thread before another turns up dead? My only, again, my brain is in nonfiction land. Um, Missing 700-year-old quilt fragment. So it's not really a fragment of a quilt, it's a fragment of fabric. Okay, never mind. Good, thank you babysitting the niece today. Oh, very nice. How old's the niece? And her name. Revved Up Murder by J.C. Eaton, 12th in the Sophie Kimball Mysteries, 300 pages. The seniors of Sun City West are celebrating again, this time over the news that Wayne from the Pinnacle Club finally has a chance to restore his classic car. Bee goes along for the ride, but her thoughts are on her agency's latest case, a priceless artifact that's missing from the local museum. It's an antique doll supposedly filled with treasure, but also carrying a curse for whoever possesses it. Then a dead body is found under Wayne's car, along with signs of foul play, and Fee is coaxed into helping him get off the hook. We're gonna keep moving here. Not that I'm shortchanging it, giving you the gist. But time is going, and we want to get through a lot. Crime and Cherry Pits. I've heard of it. Oh, Amanda Flower, yeah. Big name. This is in the Farm to Table series. Shiloh Bellamy can hardly believe it. For the first time in her family farm's 70-year history, she has managed to score a highly coveted booth at the Cherry Farm Market in Traverse City, Michigan. It's a huge win in her master plan to bring the rundown farm back to life. And the fact that her coup has sent her next door neighbor and organic farming competitor into fits of jealousy doesn't hurt either. But the festive atmosphere at the farm market takes a dark turn when a man entered in the famous cherry pit spitting competition chokes and dies right in front of Shiloh, who is standing near the sidelines as a spectator. When the death turns out to be more suspicious than a cherry pit down the wrong pipe, Shiloh finds herself under local law enforcement's microscope. She has developed something of a reputation being unwittingly involved in local murders. But she's going to involve herself in this one too. A high tide murder by Emily George. First ever culinary cozy mystery series with a legal cannabis twist. What a long, strange trip it's been for Chloe. After her dream of becoming a Parisian pastry chef and a wife crashed and burned, she returned home to the seaside town of Azalea Bay, California, and opened a cannabis cafe. Despite some residents' misgivings about how such a business may affect the community's reputation, Baked by Chloe has become a popular destination for tourists and locals alike. Nothing mellows out people like sweet edibles and frothy drinks with a dash of CBD. But when it comes to surfers, the only high they want to ride is on a wave. The annual Summer Azalea Bay Pro Challenger Surf Competition is underway, and fan favorite Aaron Gill is treading water. Plagued by professional and personal pressures, he finds himself no longer a top contender, and everyone is saddened when he takes his own life. But his best friend Ethan Wilson knows that despite Aaron's difficulties, suicide was not on his mind, and he begs Chloe to investigate because, you know, talking to people who actually do that for a living. The Body in the Ice House by Kate Hardy. She's one. That one sounded interesting. I will never get through all the books I want. That's because we are Bookie Monsters, which means we cannot die until we get through it, so we'll never die. Not that I'm against going through that door and finding out all the answers to everything. Oh, it says January. Are they trying to pull a fast one? But it's a nice. There's a second in the Georgina Drake. Georgina Drake's job photographing beautiful Hartington Hall takes a dramatic turn when she enters the ancient ice house to find the lady of the manor dead on the floor. The second house of the irascible owner of the. Why isn't the owner enigmatic? They're always enigmatic. Of the hall. Karen Barry has plenty of enemies. Her death could have been an accident, but when Georgina hears how Karen had argued with her husband, alienated her two stepdaughters, and fired the long-standing housekeeper for theft, she's not convinced. Takes matters into her own hands. And we got a couple of box sets. I believe we looked at Once Upon a Murder on Tuesday. A Suspicious Breed by Jackie Layton, Sixth in the Low Country Dog Walker Mysteries. And we're good. With her wedding day fast approaching and her plans to open a dog shelter underway, Andy Grace can barely find a free moment. Then she learns that her favorite local vet may have been roped into a crooked fundraising scheme meant to help animals, and worse still, her wedding photographer, a good friend who may have had first-hand knowledge of the scheme, is murdered. Determined to find justice for the victim and root out whoever's behind the scam, Andy Grace puts her nose to the ground to sniff out the clues. Cute doggos on the front. The Last Word by Jerry Lewis. Oh, I bet that person gets all the time. An obituary writer, Winter Snow. is no stranger to grief, and writing obituaries for the citizens of Ridgefield, Connecticut is her way of providing comfort to those who have been in her shoes. But funerals and eulogies are meant for the dead, so when the very much alive Leocadia Arlington requests her own obituary by the end of the week, Winter's curiosity is piqued, even more so when she finds Mrs. Arlington dead soon after. Officer Kip Michaels and his relentless partner, Tom Bellini, make it clear that Winter is under suspicion for the death. Drafting an obituary for someone who hasn't died yet certainly looks bad, but Winter knows that it wasn't her, and she becomes obsessed with trying to figure out the real killer. We're running out of time, so we're just going to look at covers. Murders, Chickens, and Other Foul Plays by Una Madison. This wand was made for Wavin by Scarlett Moss. Oh, Carlene O'Connor, that's a big one. Murder at the Irish Chipper, 10th in the Irish Village Mysteries. The Raven Thief by Gigi Pandian, Secret Case number 2. Gone with the Witch Way Librarian number 5 by Angela M. Sanders. Mrs. Morris and the Mermaid by Tracy Wilton, Salem B&B number 8. And we looked at Murder and Masquerade. Brew Confessions by Christine Pope, Hedge Witch for Hire number 11. How would you feel if your picture was used? I would wonder. Leprechauns and Larceny, Bookstore number 6 by Lucinda Race, if you're looking for a St. Patrick's Day one. The Hurtwood Village Murders by this is by Tanya Koppis, sorry. No, that's the next one down, by Benedict Brown. Marius Quinn number 2. The Trouble with Trying to Do the Right Thing, books 10 through 12 by Amy Hammond. And this doesn't give us a cover, but it looks like Tanya Koppis has a new one. Shock. Moonlight, Marshmallows, and Manslaughter in Her Camper and Criminals. That's number 5. Sugar Cookie Spite by Angela Mabel. First in the Cookies and Scheme series. And then these others just aren't showing up. And then again, a quick look at new books this week. They've got a lot of the Harlequins in here for next month, but we looked at a lot of these, so we did good. We did good. Oh, that's nice. Let me do this. There we go. What site are you getting these from? I want to make sure I mark these. This is from cozymystery.com, and then from there you choose a month. That you are looking at. I say she. Oh, commercial. Amazon is, so what I do is these are listed on cozymystery.com, and then from there I just right click to open it up into Amazon like that. So that we can get release information and other information. So hope that's the question you were asking. I know part of it is just checking about the actual listing. Yep, okay. Yep. It is a two-pronged approach. All right, that's all we have time for. I have to go get the mail before work, and work. If I get my act together, I'll work on some invoices today and listen to an audiobook. I always have the plan to listen to audiobook, but I never actually, thank you. You're welcome. Managed to do that. Maybe today. Maybe today's that day. I hope you guys are having a good Friday. I hope to see you tomorrow at Sprints, starting at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern, and that will go for 5 hours. So if you can't get there at the beginning, just pop in at any time. This is time carved out for you to do what it makes you happy, which hopefully includes some kind of reading since we are Bookie Monsters. If I don't see you tomorrow, have a good weekend. And we'll be back on Monday morning looking at the Cozy Mysteries being released into the wild next week on that Monday. So, as the banner says, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom nom. Have a good day and God bless.